Welcome, everyone. Let's dive into Europe's current state. Its abandonment of reason, diplomacy, and peace. Really a heady discussion sparked by Ray McGovern's analysis.
Absolutely. It's quite an intriguing take. Europe's irrationality is almost palpable these days, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, well, McGovern argues that Europe is struggling to stay relevant in this multipolar world.
Right.
He points out that the continent is drifting away from reason when it comes to political decision making.
And one of the juiciest bits is how Germany's role has sort of shifted dramatically. I mean, how did Germany become, well, Russia's most despised adversary, overthrowing the traditional dynamic?
Exactly. McGovern, coming from his long CIA career, recounts the transition. And it's almost like this bizarre reversal of alliances.
Right.
He illustrates that Europe's internal logic has, moved away from rational diplomacy.
What's really compelling is that, he doesn't just throw accusations. He draws on his 27-year stint in intelligence, including chairing the national intelligence estimates.
Right, and that background gives his perspective a lot of weight. I mean, it's like having an insider's glimpse into the engine room of geopolitical strategy.
Indeed.
But he's not all cheerful about it.
No, he's downright critical, isn't he? His commentary almost stings when he mentions the abandonment of diplomatic reason, particularly in the face of the return of war.
Yeah, it's like war is re-emerging as a possibility because Europe's lost touch with its traditional channels of diplomacy and peace negotiations. And really,
Absolutely.
it's a cautionary tale.
But don't you think there might be a bit of an oversimplification there? I mean, diplomacy is complex. Can we really say a whole continent abandoned reason?
That's a fair point, but consider how McGovern, with his intelligence background, draws on concrete historical shifts.
Yep, exactly.
He highlights that in the scramble for relevance, Europe has sometimes gravitated toward emotional and aggressive stances rather than measured diplomacy.
So, it's like Europe's chasing some sort of dramatic rebranding, even if it undermines its foundations?
Precisely. And another layer to this is the symbolism behind Germany's new identity in global affairs. Previously
Yes.
seen as a stabilizing force, now it plays the role of the chief adversary to Russia in the European context.
That reversal is fascinating, almost like a plot twist out of a spy novel, right?
Yeah, it's like someone took the rule book, crumpled it up, and rewrote the alliances. And McGovern's own history, returning his Intelligence Commendation Medal in protest of CIA torture practices, adds a layer of moral critique to his analysis.
Absolutely. Right, that act of protest says a lot about his commitment to truth, even if it ruffles feathers within the intelligence community.
It does indeed. And then there's his take on Europe's internal struggle with staying relevant in a multipolar world. It's almost like internal conflicts have left a vacuum where diplomacy used to be.
Correct, yep. And that vacuum seems to be inviting not just conflict, but a complete erosion of reason across the board.
Right, it's the interplay between power politics and national identity crisis. Europe is reconfiguring its own narrative in an ever-shifting global scene.
Yeah, for sure. But I wonder, isn't there a risk that McGovern's analysis might be a bit too dismissive of European contributions to peace, given the current crises?
Fair question, and one could argue that his tone is quite uncompromising.
True.
However, his argument is built on decades of witnessing firsthand the failings of strategic, reasoned policy.
That observed failure, especially at a time when Europe seems torn between progressive agendas and, well, old-school power plays, casts everything in a more dramatic light.
Exactly, and let's not forget how he contextualizes these shifts in the broader narrative of global multipolarity.
Right, exactly.
It's as if the failure to find a middle ground domestically has made European states more susceptible to external pressures.
So then, in a way, Europe's internal struggles spill over into international attitudes, making it less predictable and perhaps more volatile.
Yep, it's like a domino effect. The internal political disarray leads to external aggressive posturing. And McGovern's insights make you wonder about the future trajectory of the continent.
Definitely. I also found it interesting how he juxtaposes the push for maintaining peace with the rising specter of war. There's a sort of irony, right?
Absolutely. It's like, while the world expected Europe to lean into diplomacy after the Cold War, the continent's internal contradictions are now fostering conflict instead.
Right, yep. And that's a pretty stark commentary on the nature of modern international relations. Sometimes the old virtues get overshadowed by the pressing need to assert power.
Exactly. And there's this whole conversation about the abandonment of traditional diplomatic norms. It's almost like Europe has, lost its compass in a sea of modern geopolitics.
I hear you. I appreciate his no holds barred approach, but can we really pin that on an entire continent? There's still a lot of nuanced diplomatic work thriving behind closed doors.
True, true, there's nuance, but McGovern's point is more about a prevailing trend rather than a blanket statement. It's
Yes, exactly.
more a wake up call than a sweeping generalization.
Right. A warning bell sounding in the midst of political reconfigurations.
And we see it in how he details Germany's pivot, a former pillar of stability now becoming an antagonist in Russia's eyes. That shift alone challenges the established order.
Yep, absolutely. It does make you think about how quickly alliances can flip, doesn't it? One minute you're the responsible peacekeeper, and the next you're the villain in someone else's narrative.
Exactly, it's like suddenly the script gets rewritten without warning, and McGovern's experience really lets him, decode those subtle shifts.
Indeed. And it's not just about historical shifts, it's a commentary on the erosion of diplomatic reason in the face of global power plays.
Absolutely. It's this dual narrative, a mix of internal disillusionment and external realpolitik that pushes Europe into turbulent waters.
Right. And while I appreciate the clarity of his critique, sometimes I feel that the potential for diplomatic renewal is still there if the right reforms happen.
That's a solid challenge. And yeah, maybe it's not all doom and gloom.
Absolutely.
But as McGovern warns, without acknowledging these shifts, Europe risks recurring cycles of conflict.
So, in essence, his message is a cautionary tale. Ignoring the erosion of rational diplomacy might ultimately lead back to the dark days of war.
Precisely. It's a reminder to stay vigilant, to reassess the foundations of political strategy continually, because, well, history has a way of repeating itself.
Yep, that's the takeaway. All in all, McGovern's perspectives push us to rethink how and why Europe is evolving in these uncharted times.
Exactly. It's a call to re examine old assumptions and build a framework where diplomacy, instead of war, regains its rightful
Absolutely.
place.
And with that, we're left pondering, will Europe rediscover its penchant for reason, or is it on an irreversible path toward conflict?
That lingering question is what keeps the debate alive. It's like an open invitation to all of us to, be more critically engaged with these global shifts.
Right, indeed. Well, thanks for the deep dive. It's been a thought-provoking exploration into Europe's current dilemmas and the unsettling return of war.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining in this vibrant discussion. Until next time, let's keep questioning and seeking out the deeper truths behind global events.